discuss about the skull. The skull, first of all, it is the definition. Skull, it is the soft tissue covering the vault or calvaria of the skull. Calvaria of the skull, it is known as the skull. Then its extension. Extension anteriorly. Anteriorly, it extends up to the supraorbital margin. Or superciliary arch. While the posteriorly, it extends up to the external occipital protuberance. And superior nuchal line. Superior nuchal line. Laterally, it extends up to the superior temporal line. Below this, it is continuous with the temporal region. So, if you revise, the anteriorly, its extension is the superciliary arch. Posteriorly, it extends up to the external occipital protuberance and the superior nuchal line. And the laterally, both sides, it is up to the superior temporal line. Now, the layers. The layers of the skull, in this diagram, it has the 5 layers. It is easily to remember the spelling of the skull. S, C, A, L and the P. S for the skin. The first layer, it is the skin. The second layer, C, it is the connective tissue. And the third layer, it is the aponeurotic, that is the epicranial epineurosis. The fourth layer, it is the L, it is the loose connective tissue. While the fifth layer, it is the P, that represents the pericranium. So, it is the skin, connective tissue, epicranial aponeurosis, loose connective tissue and the pericranium that represents the layers of the skull. Now one by one, first the skin. Skin, this is the first layer, outermost layer. The characteristic feature of the skin, it is thick and rich in hair follicles. Rich in the hair follicles except the forehead region. Forehead region को accept कर दें, तो it is the rich in the hair follicles. Then it is rich in the sebaceous and the sweat gland. Sebaceous and the sweat gland. So the skull is the common site of the sebaceous cyst. Sebaceous cyst. Now the second layer, connective tissue. The connective tissue, it is the dense connective, it is the dense layer. Dense layer. And the neurovascular plane, the characteristic feature of this connective tissue, the neurovascular plane of the skull is present in this connective tissue layer. This connective tissue is characterized by the presence of the fibrous septa. This fibrous septa connects the layer first with the layer third, that is the epicranial aponeurosis. And this fibrous septa divides this layer into the small compartments, pockets. These small pockets have the fat globules. Fat globules. Now the third layer, it is the epicranial aponeurosis. Epicranial aponeurosis. The aponeurosis, this aponeurosis is the flat tendon. This layer has a muscle belly. This muscle belly is known as the occipitofrontalis. Occipitofrontalis muscles. It has the frontal belly and the occipital belly. These muscles, this aponeurosis provide attachment to these two bellies. Now the epicranial aponeurosis, first of all we discuss about the occipitofrontalis muscles. This muscles has a pair of belly that is in front, anteriorly present, it is the frontal belly, a pair of frontal belly, and the posteriorly situated a pair of the occipital belly. If you compare the both bellies, occipital and the frontal belly, first of all the origin, the occipital belly takes origin from the lateral aspect of the superior nuchal line as well as a part of the mastoid process. While the frontal belly, it has no bony attachment. It takes origin from the subcutaneous tissue of the eyebrow as well as the root of the nose. The frontal belly runs posteriorly and is inserted into this epicranial aponeurosis in front of this coronal suture, while the occipital belly runs anteriorly and is inserted into this epicranial aponeurotic layer. Means the insertion of the both belly has the common, while the frontal belly has no bony origin, while the occipital belly takes origin from the bones. The frontal belly is the long, and the two bellies are close to each other, while the occipital belly are short, small in the length, and they are separated from each other. The gap between these two bellies are filled by this aponeurosis layer, while the medial margin of this frontal belly is very close to each other. This frontal belly, it is supplied by the temporal branch of the facial nerve. seventh cranial nerve, which supply this frontal belly, while this occipital belly, it is supplied by the posterior auricular branch. Of this same nerve, that is the seventh cranial nerve, its posterior auricular branch supply the occipital belly, because this occipitofrontalis muscles is developed from the second pharyngeal arch. It will discuss in the embryology class, and the nerve of the second pharyngeal arch is the seventh cranial nerve. That is why these both bellies are supplied by the seventh cranial nerve. Now, the fourth layer. The fourth layer, that is the loose